Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Warren Joysticks podcast, or otherwise known as the Bloody First. I am Rooney.
That's an awful name. What is that? That's terrible. Oh boy,
I made that up on the fly together.
that was pretty
All right,
rough.
The Bloody First.
That was pretty good. We got we got Connor.
What up?
We got Dylan
Sup with it.
and Joby.
How's it going, everybody?
They didn't respond, Joby. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So
I literally
who's
I
excited?
actually got
Who's excited
concerned.
for November 3rd?
I am.
I'm hesitant.
Boots on the ground.
All right, listen. You can be hesitant and excited all you want, but this is not gonna. It's a totally different game, man. It's totally different.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
So listen. I thought a lot about this, and I really did a lot of soul searching after the previous.
Are you really? Anyway, go ahead.
Hear me out. I didn't buy the last Call of Duty.
Why were you soul searching over a video game?
Because this
What I want to know.
it's such a good video game. If it is good, that's the thing. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, like it has been the last year. So, I don't know. I honestly think like Infinity Ward went to Sledgehammer as like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope kind of thing, and they were like, all right, we'll see what we can do, and they came up with this. I mean, in my opinion, it's a year too late, but I guess it is what it is at this point.
So from what I've seen, which isn't a lot, like I haven't seen a ton on.
You get a 3-minute trailer. That's all you get.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, the campaign looks like it's going to be really good. Like boots on the ground again. Like actually.
Dude, you just
Like-
totally used their tagline from their marketing.
Did they?
Well, that is their
Totally did.
That's literally what they're advertising is boots on the ground. That's it.
Oh.
That's what they're.
But the thing I'm worried about is, you know how like Call of Duty's multiplayer, you kind of get these people running around. They got like weed leaves on their guns. Like is if they're gonna treat this seriously, I feel like they're gonna have to take some of that out, which is like that's
So-
like a hallmark of a Call of Duty game.
So I'm gonna be this guy. I'm gonna be the guy that says I always ever play these games for their single player campaigns. I'll touch multiplayer, and once I realize that my 44-year-old brain cannot keep up with the twitch reflexes of a 12-year-old who's also playing this game, I won't probably play another minute of multiplayer, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'll pay the $60
That's fine.
for
You
a
know-
flushed out 4K campaign.
And that I will say is perfectly fine because you know what, the Black Ops 3 campaign was amazing. I beg to say, what was it? The Advanced Warfare campaign was pretty amazing. I honestly I don't know anything about the newest Call of Duty, so I can't say if that's amazing or not. Joby, I think you're the only one.
I'll tell you, Infinite Warfare is pretty good. I've been playing it. I got to get back to it. I stalled on it because some other games, but I'm enjoying it. I like it.
All right, so fair enough. The campaign in the newer Call of Duty's installments, I think, is by far better than the old installments. I thought the campaign in previous Call of Duties were pretty subpar to what they are now, but
I'm gonna go out there and say I have not played a single Call of Duty campaign since Black Ops 1.
wow.
Oh, so you're that guy.
Yeah, I run them solely for the multiplayer.
So we are
Well,
we are
that's-
totally polar opposites.
And
I'm
here.
I'm nice in the middle. I'm nice in the middle. I
That's awesome.
if I don't have any, it's more like if I don't have any internet, I'll play a campaign, or if I'm updating, I'll play the campaign.
You know, if I have no internet, I'm going to Halo.
Playing the
I'm
Halo.
on the opposite side of the spectrum where I haven't played a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So
That's fair.
You haven't missed out on much.
I don't know the state of the game as it stands right now.
I mean, see, a lot of people are hating on the jetpacks and all that sort of stuff.
Because it's bad.
Okay.
In
Jeez.
in certain ways, yes, and in other ways, no. If you think about it as its own game, they can be kind of fun and they're entertaining and all that sort of stuff. But if you're trying to go for the true Call of Duty experience, you really got to go with boots on the ground.
I will give you the entertainment factor. I think that's a valid point. I think it's entertaining for some people. Me, personally, I jump on Call of Duty and I want to punch myself in the face the moment I get on.
You do that with most games.
That's a different issue,
game.
and I don't think that's one we want to get aired in the public.
No. Listen, hear me out though. I find I don't know if it's that my reflexes are slowing down. I'm getting worse at video games. I don't know what the deal is, but when I play like a Black Ops 3, like I suck, man. I'm not good at that game, and it is not entertaining to play for me. But I would go back to I still to this day go back to Black Ops 2 and play that multiplayer because it's just that good to me.
I go back and I play the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer.
That's another good one.
Yep. Modern Warfare 2, I think it's not my favorite, but it is top 3. I think ultimately it's going to go World at War, then Modern Warfare 1, and then Modern Warfare 2 for me.
What did it for me was all that BS customizing and stuff like that. It added this cheap factor to the game that originally wasn't there. It just like this currency thing where like you buy all this stuff and you can put this dumb stuff on your gun, like you said, Dylan, like a weed leaf and like I just think that's dumb. Like that's
but I don't think that's going away, right? Because that's their
moneymaker.
They have to find a way to make money beyond the $60 that you're going to pay for the game, and clearly people love to customize their stuff. So when they play multiplayer and then you steal their gun and you can see they put a weed leaf and they're the coolest, triple X, weed dude, triple X, underscore yo mama. That's they're not going to get rid of that, and I don't care about that, to be honest with you, because you're not like, for me, like multiplayer and single player are two different things. So I get what you're saying, Dylan, like the sanctitude of a single player campaign and the narrative structure around that and the tone and the story they're delivering, good, right? Once you get into multiplayer, like all bets are off, right? It's an amusement park that you're hoping people are going to continue, paying to throw the ball into the hoop, for as long as possible. And you're going to divert your narrative structure and your themes just to keep people coming back to play that multiplayer. So I'm not going to hold them accountable for, making a World War II multiplayer shooter that is for instance, take Battlefield, right? And World War I. Right? They really did it. Like they did a pretty good job with that. I think the crates in that, leave them. They don't add anything. They don't take anything away. They're not too gaudy.
I mean, that's the thing, is they don't really add a whole lot to that game. Like that's done well, in my opinion. Like the way Battlefield has done their whole entire like crate system from Battlefield 1 on, like, is excellent. Like they were making money. They were doing that before Call of Duty even thought about it. Just
as my favorite game is Battlefield 3.
Same.
Battlefield 3 was an amazing game. Their unlock system was perfect. I don't know why they changed it, because it was perfect. But
that is the one gripe I have with Battlefield 1 is definitely their unlock system, because I loved the unlock system in Battlefield 3. Like it was fantastic.
Yeah, like give me all these things to put on my gun. And they may or may not add anything to the way the gun shoots, but in my brain it does. In my brain it did. I was so much better with that hollow scope.
Now, when you started playing around Bad Company, right? The first one or the second one?
Yeah, so I played Bad Company 1. That was my my first person shooter. Well, modern, because my first person shooter was Doom. Right, way back in the day when I hacked it onto an MS-DOS machine. Hi, MemSys for the win. You don't even know what that is. So don't even laugh. So my first modern first-person shooter was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I got it for Christmas in 2009. I was blown away because that was the first time I'd played a legit modern first-person shooter at the time. And I love that game, and I played that game religiously with a bunch of other adult gamers. Like we had like multiple nights a week where we would get together with a crew and then play, public matches and have a blast. I haven't had that much fun other than Battlefield in a Modern Warfare in a Call of Duty game, since Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I will say that like the most fun I probably have ever had with a first-person shooter would probably have to be, aside from maybe playing like custom games with like my buddies every now and again, it would probably have to be just jumping on with your group in Battlefield 4. Like I got a kick out of that. That was a lot of fun. Like that was the most fun I've ever had, playing a first-person shooter. Like it was a good time. And I think
that's the community aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think that like that's the part I think that I find most fun. But I think I missed that with Call of Duty though. I missed the bar there because like I'll play with like Joby and Danny and like a couple of the guys, but it's more of like you jump in there with a whole squad and you're like just tearing shit up. Like I think that's the most fun aspect of a first person shooter, honestly.
For me personally, it's hard for me to get into first-person shooters, mostly because they are usually very centered around the multiplayer. Like the only first-person shooter I ever played a lot of was CS:GO, because of the skill-based aspect of it. It was very, very high skill cap, and I really enjoyed like seeing my own progress as I played, as I got better, and ranking up, and like seeing myself doing things that I wouldn't have been able to do when I first started playing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is everybody has a different take, right, on what they enjoy about the games. Like for me, it's always been, I love the fast pace of Call of Duty. I love the getting into, trying to get the drop on a dude and getting into a gunfight, even if you don't win, but feeling like you were so close, you almost won that one, and then spawning in as quick as you can and then trying to find a way back into the action without putting yourself in, and exposing yourself. Like there's a dopamine drip that comes from that repetitive, action where you find a little bit of success. Maybe you're going to run and you kill two people, and the thing, whoa, double kill, right? Okay, I'm in. Yeah, that's good. The dopamine's going. Like,
yeah. I mean, like that's exactly why I play. That's exactly why I play. Is that dopamine rush?
Right.
Sorry, Dylan, go ahead.
I was just saying, I get a dopamine rush from something similar in CS:GO, where you kill like two guys, like one after another, and it's less it's less I saw them first and more I was the more skilled player in that situation, and that's like that triggers my dopamine levels. I'm like, yes, I'm doing well.
So you hit the shift and then push the mouse button better than they did?
No, I was able to.
It's far more complex than that.
It really is. I'm
just busting.
I recently just got into CS:GO, and it is more than just hitting shift and clicking better than the other guy. But no, but I completely agree with what Dylan's saying. In certain games, COD, it's funny because a lot of COD players are just like, oh, every other game is just an arcade shooter, and then other gamers are just like, oh, COD is just an arcade shooter, and it's just it's funny because if you look at the amateur or the everyday Joe who is just playing these games, it's not necessarily going to be always fast paced, always most competitive, all that sort of stuff. But if you look at the pros play these games, it is just unreal what they are doing with the games.
And that's where it's fun for me too, is, you know, like I've watched all those guys before, and I find it very enjoyable to go on and play a competitive version of the game that everyone sits in public matches and plays with 6v6. I much prefer a 4v4 in a, you know, tighter, more like strategic sort of map. Like I find that way more fun than just mindlessly shooting people. Like I like that, almost like that competitive aspect like you were talking about, Dylan. Like I find that really fun, and it is an improvement. Like you can tell when you're getting better, not just as yourself, because like it's pretty easy to point and click and or point and pull a trigger. You know, I mean, it comes with levels, because like the people who play that professionally are ridiculous, and their nerves are probably fried. But you know, it's when you're improving is like a team, when you're playing with like multiple people and you go in and, you know, you're really just destroying people on the other team. That's when it gets fun.
Yeah, definitely. And if you definitely take it in that competitive mindset, you even if you are literally not as good as those pros, if you put yourself in that mindset, you find a new outlet in the game. Like Connor, when you and I went to, or you, me, and Denji were trying to play COD more competitively and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It was so much more of an adrenaline rush. Like even just playing S&D, because it was just like you're just sitting there the entire time just going, I've got to clutch up or I'm gonna get ragged on, and it was just like
I mean,
so
S&D in general just gives me, you know, the heebie-jeebies, and I just want to poop myself while I'm playing. But beside that point, you know, yeah, no, the competitive aspect adds that edge, and I think honestly, I would argue to say that is what made Black Ops 2 popular for me in my mind. Was that competitive version of the game. Like it was so succinct in how they did it. Like you would go up in leagues as you improved. And I think that was far better than this, you know, this add-on system where you're paying.
Why is that
crates.
necessary?
Why is what necessary?
Why is that necessary? Well, I guess when like, so I don't play video games to do anything other than, you know,
Have fun.
Have fun and get some enjoyment. Like I actually feel like the opposite about the competitive nature of those games is I think they detract from the general population's ability to enjoy those games.
Well, so for me personally, like I'm a competitive person. So like it doesn't matter what I'm doing, like whether it was, you know, soccer when I was playing it, or it's like a video game. Like I want to be, you know, not necessarily better, because, you know, it's that, and, you know, $1.50 you'll buy me a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. It really doesn't matter about that. Like I that is
it's like 204, by the way, if you want a medium.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more of a small, but it's fine. But no, like that to me, it's not just for me. It's like I want to be the best, you know. It's like I just want to be better. It's like an improvement, a personal improvement, I guess. And
so let's break that down. So is it a system that you need to see a persistent recognition of your level, or is it your personal assessment? So what I mean by that is, you know, when I play, I'm competitive as well. We've met, right?
Yeah. We're the same person, so it's fine.
And I want to win anytime I play a video game, right? But at the end of the night, I kind of sit back and say, well, that's just a friggin' video game. You know, I suck tonight. I'm going to go to bed and I'll never think about it again, right? But if there's this persistent concept of like, oh man, my rank went down, and now what? Like I'm less of a person because I'm not as high of a rank anymore. Like, need that level of persistent recognition, or is it just sort of like you just want to be able to feel competitive in the moment?
It's more competitive in the moment, I think, because like I played Black Ops 2 a ton, and the thing that I think made that really well was like you could easily just go down as you could go up. It was that easy. Like if you won, it was the same. I don't know if you know what ELO is, but this is basically like that. It was started in Black Ops 1, and
that like YOLO?
No, so it's let me look up the term. I have to look up what ELO actually means.
That was a joke. Dad joke.
ELO is pretty much it's your overall scoring as a player, and it kind of tells people looking on the outside, like
And
how
what? And so
how
why?
good you are.
So do you need do you need that in the game? Do you need a persistent accumulation of your skill in the game?
For when I was playing CS:GO, that's what kept me going, is because it's a visual thing. So when you're playing, you start off in like silver.
Yeah, see, they're using a very insidious technique
Oh,
to
absolutely.
tap into something there that's just so not appropriate.
Because people can't pick out how their elo system works. No one can figure out how it works because it's so complex. And just so everyone knows, the elo system was created by Arpad Elo, a Hungarian-American physicist. It was originally used in chess. So this has been around for forever, basically. It has gone from chess, a rating system for chess, and now it's in video games and football and baseball and soccer and all sorts of other things. It's just basically how to rank things from lowest to highest.
Yeah,
fairly.
But yeah, so
right. But they're feeding it to you in a way that you feel compelled to, play more, right? To try to improve more and improve that ranking.
Right. You feel compelled to you feel compelled to quote unquote get good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, playing Call of Duty and being a master rank in Black Ops 2, that was like, if you were the master, like you were the god, like you were like top 500 in the world, like. But there's no, like, they do the same thing in Overwatch now. It's like you can get like this big emblem that says like top 500 in the world. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like there's so much competition, and
do we need that in games? I mean, do we need that to be able to have fun in any type of a competitive game?
Absolutely not. Like I just played Kingdom Hearts for the first time and I loved the crap out of it. So I think it depends on the game, I guess, or your personality.
Well, let's break it down. For competitive multiplayer games, do you need that?
See, I would say yes and no. I would say yes.
Don't let that picket go up your ass as you're sitting on the fence.
Fence so hard. No, but what I'm saying is, so yes, in the sense that if you want to be competitive and you want to have that aspect of your game, so not even from a consumer standpoint, but from a developer standpoint, if you want to have your game be somewhat competitive, you need to kind of put that in order to edge towards that crowd. You also need to have the public or the unranked playlist or that sort of game style that caters to the average Joe that may just hop on for maybe an hour a week.
That's a really interesting point, and I wonder, and I have zero information to back this up, right? And I'd love to get my hands on it as a data wonk, but I'd love to see the numbers of, if you could survey people and put them into a or a B bucket, right? A being the player that thrives on, the perception of eliteness in video games, versus the player that just wants to enjoy playing the game in a different competitive way, and how many of those really make up where the dollars come from for these companies, right? Because I do feel there's an element of it that is, they put it in because it does placate the elite, the folks that want to be elite gamers and work on their score and their rank and engage in that meta, about how good they are, versus, well, that's 20% of the population, and the other 80 are just people that buy it because they're going to get on and play with their friends and goof off for a couple hours a night.
True, but part of that 80% might be like Connor and I, who enjoy watching the professionals play so we can learn something from it. Like, we may not have the skill to compete at a very high competitive level, but there are people that watch it in order to learn or to be entertained, like a lot of the Call of Duty fans are.
Right. So if there was no persistent system, would that detract from your ability to watch and enjoy it?
No, in that sense, probably not. But it would. If so, I don't know if you watch any of the Call of Duty World League that's going on.
Oh yeah, like 5 hours a night.
But they keep track of the stats. They keep track of everything that goes into that. And if they weren't really, or if there wasn't a system in place to keep track of that sort of thing, would they even be broadcasting that to see who is the best player in the Call of Duty World League.
Yeah, that's
And I
what
mean,
this is. You're getting at exactly what I'm trying to get at is which one is the chicken, which one's the egg. So
exactly.
are these systems supporting, or trying to better support the need that exists around people who want to watch these games and need a framework in order to conceptualize this competition, right? Because so to take it to traditional sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what the standings are in the NHL, right? You
Oh yeah.
understand who the best
Yep.
forwards are and the best defensemen are.
Yep.
You understand, basketball, football, how teams rank against each other, how players rank
Exactly.
against each other. So that's what I'm wondering is if we're creating a construct that's supporting the idea that we need to make video games also be a spectator sport, and that's why these are necessary versus the average player doesn't need it, but it needs to be there if it's going to support this alternate use.
I'm gonna go with the latter. Sorry to cut you off there, Kronger.
No, it's fine.
But I definitely think it's not necessarily for the average Joe, but it is there for the person that wants to watch competitive.
Mm.
So this is what. Go ahead, Joey.
Go ahead. That was pretty much the end of my
Okay,
process.
so I'll come at you with like more of a design standpoint and something that like when you're designing a video game, like this is something that's really key, and that's like that is competition. People love competition. It's just natural. It's natural in people to want to go on and see their friends get other scores. Like so I'm gonna relate this to something a little different. Do you remember when what's it called? Trials came out, and you were competing against your friends for better scores. I think it's the same concept with Call of Duty, only in a more complex environment. You have like these top ranking people that, play it professionally, whatever. But even still, those people are just simply a number. They are just, top 50 in the world, whatever it may be. In some cases, they're not even top 50 in the world. They happen to be in the right place at the right time on the right team. And, they know people. It's the same thing with sports. Like, some of those people aren't necessarily the top people in the world, but still they have a job because they happen to know people. It comes down to like people play what they're most addicted to. Like you, for instance, like a good narrative. Like a lot of people like a good narrative and a good story. Some people play video games for a competitive nature. I can tell you right now that like 75% of the games that people enjoy have a competitive aspect to it because it allows them to, because some people might not be athletic, but hell, they can play, they can play Call of Duty or Trials.
Push the hell out of that trigger.
They can push the hell out of that trigger, and that they get off on that. They love that. That is exciting to them.
Yeah, so, that's cool.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's
that's cool. I'm not judging at all. I'm just curious about, whether we've just sort of moved beyond the days of, when first person shooters came out originally, and it was story, and then it was multiplayer, and it was multiplayer, for the sake of multiplayer. And now I think that there's no such thing anymore. That I think multiplayer has to be multiplayer with a hook, right? And that hook is
like
Even still, I'll add one last point, and then I'll let you guys talk for a little bit. What about like when we're talking about like old arcade machines? Again, that was a similar concept. Who's got the best score in the arcade room? Who can put that best score up there for other people to beat? I think it's that same sort of concept.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
What were you gonna say, Dylan?
Oh, I was just when you were talking about the older like first person shooters, you mean like Quake and I'm trying to think of what else. Mostly Quake.
Yeah, and they very much had the same concepts, that Connor just referred to around the the arcade type system, because there was no such thing as the internet, and there was no such thing as live streaming, right? So It was, can you get together with a small group of friends and then see who's the best, right? And then brag about it, the next day.
But I mean, even then, it's still competitive, even if it's with your friends and all that sort of stuff. Even if it's with a group of good buddies and all that sort of stuff, it still gets a little competitive. I know it did when me and my friends were doing things back in the Halo 1 days, where there was no like online multiplayer as far as I'm aware, like on Xbox, and it was all LAN based. We got together and we trash talk the shit out of each other, and it was all fun, and it was just trying to push each other to be better.
So yeah, I think in that respect, it's been if we look back, like I think video games have originated from a competitive standpoint, and like even back towards like Pong, like people are competing, like it's a game about competition. And I think that's a really key thing to remember. I think ideally is that video games are this platform for competition.
Yeah,
And
like I completely agree.
yeah, and you know, I think yeah, there are games like obviously like now that we're in the 20th century, 21st century, like we are making stuff that's more attuned to what people want. So you're not going to see a maybe people and maybe I could be exaggerating, but maybe people are competing with themselves in a way when they're playing a narrative story.
Well, they
They're
definitely
competing.
could.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
because I mean,
like
if you look at like one of the big games this year is what was it Horizon Zero Dawn.
yeah, that's a solid example.
So Horizon Zero Dawn, it's strictly a narrative base and all that sort of stuff. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be single player because I'm pretty sure there is no multiplayer in that game. But even still, I haven't looked, but I bet I could and look up like speed runs. And even
Oh yeah.
then, even though it's not a competitive game, it is still about competition with, oh, let's see who can complete it the fastest or complete it the most the fastest, like Dark Souls. Like you
Yeah.
have
Oh,
speed
yeah.
runs, you have 100% speed runs, you have like all sorts of stuff which all kind of go back to the competitive aspect.
And you know what?
Even
I'd even go further though, Joey, to even say that uh, achievements and trophies on the
Yep.
PlayStation, those
or
are
Xbox.
those are forms of competition with yourself. I 100% think that even if you're not competing, you're still competing because you still want that 300 gamer score that means jack shit next to everything. Like it doesn't mean anything. It's a number.
Either that,
Yeah, but
or
it's still it's a sense of it's a sense of. So there's some, you've probably studied some of this, but there's some of this game theory around how when things are made to feel like work, right, that give you a level of accomplishment, they tap into an underlying like part of your psychology that to check things off, right? People like to accumulate things that are accomplishment in nature, right?
Yeah,
intrinsic rewards. People need those, right, as part of their life, and when you can give it to them within a video game, it can be successful. And achievements is the perfect example of that. Or go look at WoW, right? In WoW, the quest system and the accumulation system in WoW is literally designed to tap into some pretty devious, psychology.
Yeah, I mean, well, welcome to year one Destiny, where everything was a grind and everything was like, oh, I saw that person with X weapon or X piece of armor. I'm gonna grind the whatever amount of hours it is to get that.
Yeah, I'd argue that they screwed that up. That they probably should have followed WoW a lot more than they did.
But see, I'm hearing from people like the people on the Destiny community podcast that have been playing since the beta, who are just like, I miss the old days where everything was a grind, and it's
But they
not
missed
just
the loot cave.
Yeah, I was about to say
they missed the loot cave.
That would have been the loot cave in particular.
No, but even before the loot cave was discovered, it was still a grind to get stuff. You weren't guaranteed anything. Where now in Destiny you have the tree of coins and that sort of stuff, and it just seems like everything drops a little bit more easily, and it just like that sort of thing. And they were just like, yeah, it was much harder in year one in order to do stuff because you had to grind in order to do it.
So I think that with that though, like I think it had more to do with like if they made those raids far more or just like even the strikes like far more complex, more puzzle oriented, just like WoW is. Like everything in WoW is half a puzzle, half like clicking keys on your keyboard. They didn't do that with Destiny. I felt like the some of the strikes were easier, but I mean,
I wish you were playing year one. Like
I did play year one.
Did you ever do the Vault of Glass year one?
I did not.
It was taking people 7 hours to do the Vault of Glass.
And see, I would have been okay with that. I would have been totally okay with that.
But that's what I mean about the grind for it is just like it. Like we can run through the newest raid in an hour and a half.
Yeah, but
like,
it just feeds. But they're at the end. They're at the tail end, right? It's hard to draw the comparisons, right?
Oh yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
And it just feeds into that concept of right. It's the grind as you refer to it, right? Is the I got through the grind, right? Because that's why you're doing it. Because at the end, you could say you got through it.
Yep.
And
I got XYZ because I grinded for 7 hours in order to get it, like that sort of thing.
Right. So we talked a lot about the multiplayer and sort of some of the competitive dynamics, and it'll be interesting to see how they get employed, in the new Call of Duty when it comes out, given that it's again going back to its roots in World War II. What are people's hopes for the single player?
I have none. I have no expectations.
Really, none.
No, I've never played the single player in any of them.
All right. So as someone who I've been meaning to go back and try to get my hands on Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty 3. I've never played either any of those games because they kind of came out before I rediscovered video games. The first person video games on the consoles. My hope is I grew up until I was 12 years old listening to stories told by my grandfather about World War II. And I was always fascinated with World War II, and I used to watch all the movies, and I used to watch, and just eat them up. And, I'd always have, tanks and army men, I'm really excited for the ability to jump in and play a World War II game with the fidelity that they're showing. I look back at some of the earlier games and they were groundbreaking for their time, right? But their polygonal, and hard edges, right? They reduced that immersion. We're at that point now where it's fully immersive, right? And the fidelity is going to be so high. I literally was getting goosebumps watching that trailer.
Oh, me too.
Playing that game.
It looked so amazing.
That was exactly why I was excited, was because we've entered that realm where everything is just so hyper realistic that like I was getting goosebumps playing the opening to Battlefield 4. It was so hyper realistic and just so like gut wrenching, and like I love that. That's great. Like that's a great storytelling aspect, and that's probably why I will end up playing, the story for the new Call of Duty, is because like I think that shows something different. It's something different. It's this gut check. It's this gut reaction to like some visceral stuff that we don't even know what it actually looked like. We just have a little black and white videos about what World War II looked like. We have no clue though.
Yeah. I think we're going to get a good idea if they really follow through with what they were talking about in the reveal show. I think we're going to get a good idea, and I think this is going to be the first time a whole generation of young people are going to get a real exposure to what World War II was, and what that that Battle of Normandy, what it was, and what it the sacrifices that were made, and the just the brutality of war. And the brutality of that invasion by the Allies. It's a big part of history that I think gets lost. Or has gotten lost recently.
Well, while I would love to completely agree with that, and I would love for them to show that aspect of it. Do you think that they are actually going to go that far, as far as the things that they're showing on screen, the sense of impending doom and just utter like facing your mortality? Do you think they're going to be able to put that into the game?
I think
I don't know. They're talking like it, so I'm gonna I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I'd like to point out that the Call of Duty franchise was also the franchise that put a scene of you running through an airport, gunning down innocent civilians.
Mhm.
So if they can put that in a game, I feel like they could.
Well, they can put that in the game, but are they going to make it feel like it's actually you?
Well, so one thing we keep talking about it like it's the same developers.
Mhm.
I think we got to be careful, right? Because I think with Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and then the games that came around that game, they were very tightly mapped within a concentrated development team, right?
Right.
These are like completely different studios now. Like the brand is being shared by 3 independent studios now.
Yep.
So I don't think we're gonna see. I don't think you can assume you're gonna see the same thing one studio did, the same approach being taken by any other studio at this point.
So I think that's what's interesting though is like Sledgehammer Games is the newer one to the whole entire thing. They haven't they are only this is only their second game in the whole entire cycle, and I think their first game was pretty decent as to
which one was their first game?
That was Advanced Warfare.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and that was a pretty solid game. I think like it was a pretty decent. I had fun playing it. It was the first introduction really to jetpacks and stuff, and I think they did it well. They did it to the point where like I could actually play that game and enjoyed it.
Yeah,
they definitely
did. Does everybody know where Sledgehammer came from?
I have no clue.
So Sledgehammer was Visceral Games.
Okay.
Who created the Dead Space series?
Yeah.
And they split off.
I'd also like to say that Advanced Warfare was not their first game. Their first game was Modern Warfare 3.
No, it wasn't. That was Infinity Ward.
I'm on their website.
They must have helped out, but Infinity Ward had their name on that. Sledgehammer only was part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on their game timeline. It says the first game was Modern Warfare.
Correct. They were originally developing Call of Duty Vietnam, which is interesting, but it was put on hiatus, and then it was canceled, and then they switched to working with Infinity Ward on Modern Warfare 3.
So I wonder. So funny enough, an independent studio. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I remember seeing Sledgehammer on that game, but I remember it being first and foremost an Infinity Ward game. It was an Infinity Ward release.
It was, yeah.
And then they did develop Advanced Warfare.
So I just think that's very funny that an independent studio had the idea for doing Call of Duty Vietnam, and the corporate side of things ignored that and said, no, we're gonna do this. Like, this is where we're headed. A more futuristic timeline. And I think it's funny that now it's the same independent studio that had this idea to go back in time that are now going back and doing World War II. I think that's funny. I bet you they pitched this idea and they were like, sure.
Well, they probably saw a bunch of because a lot of the pros are sitting there going, well, like as soon as Modern Warfare Remastered came out, everybody was ditching Advanced Warfare and going right back to...
You mean Infinite Warfare?
Oh, yeah, Infinite Warfare. And then they went straight back to MWR. They loved the boots on the ground. They loved that aspect of it. And not to say that they didn't enjoy the jetpacks, but it was just like COD at its core is boots on the ground, is it's past warfare is what it is. And the fact that we decided to try to go to modern warfare, I think it became too cartoony for people.
I think it just became too far fetched, Like,
well, that's kind of what I mean by cartoony, is that it's like it like when we all think of Wile E. Coyote and all that sort of stuff, and all the Acme gimmicks and all that sort of stuff, and it's like cartoony and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, if you think about it, it's the same sort of thing that they were trying to do with Advanced Warfare,
I
Black Ops 3 and all that sort of stuff.
All right. So it's about an hour in. We've been talking nonstop about Call of Duty. So does anybody have any closing thoughts on Call of Duty? You want to just sort of wrap up with what we've been playing?
It's really been an hour. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I guess I'll say this. So I'm hesitant, as I think most people are after the company basically did us dirty with the last one. I'm hesitant, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be a good game. But I'm going to hold my breath though, because I still think that we're a long way off of ever, recreating an old Call of Duty. So I'm, I'll hold my breath, but I
Well,
do.
I would encourage you. I would
right.
encourage you to be more optimistic.
No, I am. Well, the thing is, like, I've been optimistic in the past, and that's really bit me in the butt because I was really optimistic with, Infinite Warfare. I was like, oh, it's going to be a good game, and I haven't even bought it because it just looks that bad.
I mean, multiplayer wise for an Infinite Warfare, I don't mind it. I kind of enjoy it.
Joby loves the jetpacks, man. I tell you.
No, I do enjoy the jetpacks.
Okay, all right. This is all right. We're embarking on our second hour of talking about Call of Duty.
Real quick. No, I mean with the newer Call of Duties, I do enjoy the jetpacks solely for the fact that it makes it a little more fast paced. That is the only reason. Otherwise, I'd be fine with boots on the ground. If it was boots on the ground, but it felt like more fast paced and all that sort of stuff that like it does with the jetpacks, then I'd be fine. I'm still cool with how it was back in the heyday. I'm cool with what it is now. You got to take it as its own game. Just because they did something in the past doesn't mean they're going to continue doing that. Just because they're doing something now doesn't mean it's going to be like that in a year or two. Like,
I can see it now.
Back to futuristic warfare.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. The Germans were working on some top secret technology. Jetpacks.
World
War II.
Is something.
That's like a valid thing, though. You know that.
No,
right?
it's not.
People said that on Reddit.
That is something
okay.
I would.
Right,
that is something I would not enjoy though. Is if you tried to combine the two.
It'd be steampunk.
It's either you've got to do one or the other. If you try to combine the two, and you don't do it well, you are gonna fail.
Right, well, then in my opinion, that's the next way to go is steampunk.
A steampunk Call of Duty, I think, would be pretty cool, but
let's keep it real. Zombies.
But the with steampunk, remind me, is it actually like taking things from history and modernizing them?
Technically, it's like taking a Victorian era and adding like this sci-fi element to it. That's basically what it is. It's like history with sci-fi.
It's mechanical technology.
If they put it far enough back, like not World War I, not World War II, or anything like in the past century or two, and they like if they just started putting Spartans with fucking jetpacks, maybe. But if they tried to do anything that anybody that is currently living has experienced, I think it would just seem a little too cheesy for me.
Yeah, I think they end up doing a Vietnam one after this one. I bet, because there really hasn't been an actual Vietnam one. I mean, Black Ops, the original Black Ops was kind of like that.
We may not be far enough away from Vietnam, honestly.
Well, I think one of the other reasons why they wouldn't touch Vietnam is because technically, if you ask most people, we didn't win Vietnam.
But I think that would be an interesting game to make, to be like, we didn't win this war. This is a war we didn't win. I mean,
it's not in the modern era, but there have been first person shooters set in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Just before Call of Duty, it was other no name smaller studios have tried to create a Vietnam experience, and it's a tough war to address because
it definitely is. Yeah.
Well, anyway. What I'd love to do is give Dylan a chance to tell us what he's been playing because he was all excited to tell us.
I'm super excited. I have been playing Nier Automata.
Oh, you dirty rotten scoundrel.
Never heard of it.
Oh my gosh, it is actually... I'm falling in love with this game. It's made by Square Enix, same people who've made all the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts. So it's very... it's a lot like most of their games, but with very subtle, very key differences. The combat is so far very rewarding. Like I'm loving like actually doing combat. And I think the way that they're handling skills and abilities is amazing. And it works really well with the whole backstory of the game. which pretty much how it works is you're an android, and so you buy chips, these like microchips that you insert into yourself, and they give you special abilities and boosts. And you only have a certain amount of space to put those chips, so you can like bigger chips take up more space, but they usually do more.
Kind of like Warframe.
Does Warframe do that?
I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it, but it sounds a little bit like Warframe. I mean, I'm assuming Warframe came out after this game, so.
Yeah, this totally looks like a game I would not play.
Nier
but
Automata
like
is brand new.
Nier Automata is brand new.
It's brand new.
Oh, okay. Warframe came out in 2013.
Yeah, and I think Nier is it's the combat is action based, right?
Yes,
sort of
it's a
real time action based
combat.
Yeah, it looks like a
Gotcha.
JRPG. It's not my style.
Yeah, no. So Warframe is more of a it's a third-person co-op focused action game sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember playing Warframe for a little bit when it was in early days, and it was kind of fun, but wasn't really my thing.
Yeah. And Nier, I understand, has a pretty deep story. I mean, it's really what it is, right? It's a story game.
I think I'm about maybe 2-3 hours in, and I'm really loving the story so far. I'm starting to kind of see what they're going to be addressing in the story.
You think you see it anyway?
What the main story is about, and like obviously I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't want to spoil it.
No spoilers.
It is a very complex topic that they are addressing, and I think they're doing it pretty well.
Cool. That's all. Anything else you've been playing?
A little bit of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh boy. We're
We're
gonna have a separate podcast for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, we need to though. That game is fantastic.
I will just be silently sitting in the corner, pretending I don't exist.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is very fun. They improved a lot from Kingdom Hearts 1. Fixed a lot of issues that I had with it. I'm not super far into it, but I'm really enjoying it so far.
So how far down this rabbit hole are you gonna go? You going all the way? Like every Kingdom Hearts game?
I'm gonna play every Kingdom Hearts game, and then eventually I will save up the money to buy a PS4 so I can get Kingdom Hearts 3.
Not until 2018.
Not until 2000. Oh wait, was there?
Yeah, they pushed it back.
Again?
I tagged you in a post on Facebook about it.
I don't know.
Oh,
don't just get a PS4. Get a PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro.
Or wait and see how Sony responds when Scorpio comes out.
Well, the PS4 Pro is supposed to be right up there with the Scorpio.
Yep. Nope.
Not completely, but
Not
it's
even
supposed
close.
to be. Really? I heard it was supposed to be the same tier.
Go to check out when you get a chance.
I'll
Go check out Eurogamer's Digital Foundry had a whole inside look at the technology behind the Scorpio, and it's significantly more powerful than the PS4 Pro.
Is it?
Yeah, they are breaking the bank on this thing.
Heard whispers, little rumors that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be the first Kingdom Hearts game that isn't only released on PlayStation.
Ooh.
So there's a chance for it might either be on Xbox or it could be on PC.
Yeah, or Switch.
Or Switch, which that could also be very cool.
Yeah.
No thanks.
What about you, Connor? What have you been playing?
Playing a little bit of everything, honestly. I've been actually doing a little more 3D modeling than I have been playing. I mean, I finished Kingdom Hearts, the original Kingdom Hearts, and I really liked that. It was a really good story. It was a really good narrative. You'd actually like it, Rooney. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably start Final Fantasy 15 soon. I borrowed that from a friend, so probably gonna start that soon.
That's the most recent one, right? That's the
that's the most recent one. I'm gonna give that one a shot.
Welcome to Warren Joysticks, sponsored by Square Enix.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, right, right. Jeez.
What else have I been playing? That's kind of really it. I haven't really been playing a lot of games. I've been doing a lot more like 3D modeling and schoolwork and stuff. So
good to hear. Good to hear.
How to do like some really cool hair stuff and like realistic hair, and probably gonna start using that in my models. Pretty pumped about it. It's actually the same stuff that they used in Uncharted 4. It's actually really, really simple, but it looks amazing. So
you can
Trace effects.
put
Trace
some
effects.
no, it's called it's actually called hair cards. That's what they're called.
Oh wow.
And basically, it's just a bunch of planes that you put on people's heads, and then you use opacity maps and make it basically look like real hair. So it's pretty advanced stuff. Pretty cool.
And then you put some cloth simulation on it, and it looks beautiful.
No, you don't need cloth simulation. Actually, it's
You don't?
no.
I don't want my hair flopping around.
I mean,
like
it depends. Like if you're doing like female stuff, you just rig that. You just rig it in. It's not that big a deal. I mean, you can put cloth, but you can just rig that in.
I mean, if it's like really long hair, I feel like cloth would do it better justice.
Joby, are they still talking English?
I don't know. I'm sitting here going, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, this is probably a topic for a whole nother day because this is like all game design jargon. But
yeah, that would be a topic where you host a podcast.
Hey,
if we want to do that next week, I am down for that, and I'll just sit here and I won't talk for the entire thing.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
I'll just take a shot every time I don't understand.
Right.
We don't want that though.
There you go.
Joby, what have you been playing?
Yeah, what Joby been playing?
I haven't been playing much of anything the past couple of days just because I've been dog sitting for my mother. Otherwise, I've been playing a little bit of Destiny. Speaking of which, Connor, we have to catch you up on a lot of stuff that we did, including the Black Spindle, the Sleeper Stimulant, there's a bunch of stuff that we need to get you now. Anywho, otherwise, I downloaded the other day on Steam. I downloaded GTA 5. I have that on either Xbox or PS4. I can't remember which one.
I'm pretty sure you have that on Xbox. You and Danny.
I think I have that. Yeah, I have that on Xbox. So I downloaded on PC just because one of my friends was asking me about it. So I'm going to be playing that a lot more. Otherwise, yeah, no, I haven't really been getting into anything new. I am very excited for the next COD. I'm very excited for more information on Destiny 2, which is coming to Xbox, PS4, and PC.
Oh yeah, we know. We talked about that last week.
I know.
Or the week before.
2 weeks ago. But yeah, no. So I'm very excited about that. Otherwise, yeah, no, I haven't really been doing much.
Cool.
I have been living in the moment.
That's good. You should all be living in the moment. I've been playing. I keep touching Mass Effect, although I'm not touching it a lot right now. And I know.
It's been a hard month for games, honestly. Like I haven't really been playing a lot of games.
And I played some of the Ghost Recon, which I got from GameFly, and I'm feeling like I may just kind of pull the plug on that one and send it back and hope that they send me Horizon Zero Dawn. And hopefully I can dive into that because I really want to play that. On the PC, that's mostly on the Xbox. What's that?
Sorry, did you get Wildlands for the PS4 or the Xbox?
The Xbox.
We'll have to play before you send it back.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like a co-op session. I actually was doing a mission the other day, and some dude on my friends list jumped in, and I had 3 experts helping me on the mission, and it was pretty hard. And then all of a sudden, they disappeared, and he was 3 miles away on the map, and I got smoked and failed the mission. I was like, okay, I'm going to set my party to private.
It sounds like Wildlands.
Wildlands.
It was Wildlands.
Wildlands is great when you have a party. I mean, it's fine when you're doing it solo and all that sort of stuff. But when like Connor and Denji and I were playing the beta, it was just so fun because we were just fucking around the entire time, and that's what I think that game is for. I mean, obviously they want it to be taken seriously and all that sort of stuff. But when you are a consumer, you're looking at that game going, if I just want to just mess around and have a couple of laughs, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's cool. The other thing I've been doing is I have been playing one game that I've had for a while, Stellaris, and sort of trying to refamiliarize myself with the game because I'm thinking about grabbing the new expansion, Utopia. It's a space strategy game, which is really fun. It's got an interesting narrative that goes along with the strategy, so it's actually kind of fun to play, and I love space stuff. And then the other thing, I just picked up Steel Division Normandy 44, which is a war tactics simulation, sort of battle simulation game that is out right now in beta form. And if you buy it, you get the beta, and you can play the beta. And I'm looking forward to playing that. That's another one that's on my list. But that's about it.
Cool.
So this is the worn joysticks. Y'all
Hey.
will
I
be
still
back
love
again
the
next
name.
week.
Solid.
It is great. I gotta give props to the name. The name is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
So this is Rooney.
we did a lot of work on that.
That's good. This is Rooney saying see you later.
Connor saying see ya.
I'm
No one
waiting for
else?
Dylan to do
Sure, I'll peace out.
it. And then I'm Joby, and we will see you next time, guys.
Sounds good.
Outro music.
No.